Hey there, CEOs. Thank you again for joining me for today's Barter Black Today in Black History podcast, where we are featuring Black-owned businesses that you need to know, people that you need to reach out to. They have services that are amazing. And I am here today with Miss Chelsea Elliott, owner of Somocom Lab, which aims to build children's confidence, resilience, and communication skills while supporting adults in creating emotionally safe and healthy environments for kids in their care. I am so happy to have you here with me today, Chelsea. How are you doing today?
Thank you. I'm doing well. I'm very excited to be here with you. Thank you.
I appreciate it. So tell me more about Somocom Lab and what services you offer.
So I'm always creating more and more and more and adding more. But my company offers, I have children's books. I have a lot of resources, like my card game called the EQ Kids Crew. And that is a card deck that teaches kids about their feelings and emotions by giving them the words for it and different activities and self-regulation skills. And I have parent coaching services, so helping to support parents. I do a lot of workshops with educators and teachers in the classroom to help support them, because we need to support ourselves too, right? We can't just teach our kids these things and then not have an environment that fosters that kind of communication and connecting. So that's been my goal. So I'm always creating more stuff. I'm currently working on a program. It's implemented in a preschool right now, and it's been really exciting. So I have a lot of different things that I'm doing, building that out for different ages and different grades, and I just want to save the world. So
I appreciate that. We need people that want to save the world and help each other out, especially when you're talking about, children and, especially when you say the adults that are taking care of the children. So, your Reach to Connect workshops, can you tell us a little bit more in detail about that? Who are they for? When are they hosted? Are they virtual? Are they in person? Just give us all the information.
So absolutely. Reach to Connect. The Reach is an acronym that stands for Respect, Empower, Adapt, Care, and Hear. So that is my formula for having emotionally intelligent conversations and adding emotional intelligence in your everyday communication with anybody. And it actually started as a customer service training because my husband has worked in customer service forever. And I'm like, how are you laughing at the stuff that you're telling me when I'm over here getting mad and it happened to you? Like, people are crazy. And he's like, oh, they always apologize at the end. I'm like, okay, let's talk about this. So I use my psychology and social work background to analyze like how he's working with these people, how he's okay when he comes home at the end of the day, how he's not, holding on to the awful things people are telling him. He's a big Black man. Like, he's heard some horrible things. So I'm like, how are you okay with this? And it was just really amazing to learn from him. And so I created this acronym and, did the training with a bunch of different people. But the way that God works in my life, God is everything to me. The way he works in my life is like, he gives me something, and then years later, it makes total sense.
Yeah.
And so now I use Reach as a way for parents to connect with their kids and for educators to connect with kids and for us to show kids how to respond to certain situations while still being who they are. And so it's been an amazing journey. I started in like 2017, and now I'm like, oh my gosh, I get to use this every day now. Finally. But yeah, that's what Reach is. The workshops are being built out for, to be hosted on my own platforms. But right now, somebody can go on there and book me to come and speak at their professional development days or, different times that they have workshops.
So why would you say the Reach for Connection workshops? I know they're for all different types of people and different, kids, adults. But why is this important? Why are you doing this?
Well, I'm doing this because I know I was called to do it. Everything that I'm doing in my company now, Somocom Lab, they always say, don't put your personal, life in your business. This whole business is my personal life.
Wow.
from my childhood to being an adult and wondering why I'm, studying what I'm studying in school. Why am I in grad school? What is social work? And going through a whole macro social work program. Like, what even is that? And so I'm like, what am I doing? And now I finally understand what all of this means and why I'm doing all of this. So Reach to Connect is, we have to do something. We have to do something. Our kids, people keep saying kids are so different now. They're not. We're just paying more attention.
Yeah.
We're seeing them in a different light. They're not any more emotional than we were back in the day. We're just not shooting them down as often.
Yeah.
So they're expressing themselves more. They're seeing other kids are allowed to express themselves. So that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
And so, we need to show them, if we want respect from them, we need to show them what respect looks like. If we want to show them, that we really care about them, we need to understand what that looks like to them and not based on what we think it is.
Yeah.
Well, I feed you. Okay, you're supposed to. Like, yeah.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Oh, I wanted to give you a hug. You didn't want one. Yeah, because some kids don't like to be touched.
Yeah.
So how can you show them that you care in their way of understanding? So really getting to know and understand a child, regardless of your connection to them, getting to know and understand them and reach them in the way that they can understand.
Yeah.
We'll let them know that somebody cares.
Yeah.
One person in this world really and truly does want to get to know me. They really respect me. They validate my feelings. They understand me. I can be myself around this person. I don't have to hide me.
Right.
Teaching them that they can love themselves, even though they're an emotional person. That's so important, So I'm all for, letting kids be kids and feel, letting them know, you can sit there and cry. That's totally fine. Totally fine. Yeah, it's annoying for me as an adult, but go on and have those feelings, boo.
Release yourself.
Yes, because if you don't release it now, you're going to bottle it up and release it later.
Right.
So,
I love that you said, if they don't want to be touched right now, or they don't want to talk right now, give them that moment. And I think a lot of times, whether it's entrepreneurship or as an adult, we're not teaching people how we want them to handle us. If it's not something I want to talk about right now, or if as an entrepreneur, how do you want people to support you? Instead of saying people don't support me, have you said how you would like to be supported as an entrepreneur? So I know a lot of people watching and listening are parents. Them listening and watching you right now, what would you say would be not necessarily the reason, but what would they be thinking in their head right now to reach out for your services? How do they know they need your services right now?
If they're like, man, I really don't know what to do with this child. I feel like I'm yelling constantly. They only respond when I yell. They don't listen to me unless, I'm at my wit's end and I'm screaming. That's the only way I can communicate with them. I hear that all the time. And I'm like, it's really not. It's really not.
It's so crazy you said that because, okay, let me tell you, I have a 14-year-old and I have a 4-year-old, and I feel like this 4-year-old would be testing me, but I swear I can say, sit down, Jackson. No, Jackson. And he does not understand unless I go up a few notches, and I'm like, come on now.
Yeah.
Help us out. You just
work with me, buddy. Work with me.
Work with me.
Yeah.
So I know there are parents that felt that what you just what you just said. Yeah. So EQ Kids Crew, is that what it's? Okay. Tell us about that, because when I saw that you had a game, I was just like, oh my gosh, I love it. One, because I'm like a creator, an inventor, geek. I love to see Black people who are inventors, and I don't think that we see that enough. So tell us about the game.
Okay. So I always think, where do I start when I'm talking about these things? So when the pandemic started, I was pregnant with my youngest.
Okay.
And my oldest daughter was 3.
Okay.
And she is such a people person. Oh my goodness. She will hold a conversation with anybody. And, to go from that to being in isolation was really hard for her. A huge challenge for her.
Yeah.
And I would notice that when she was acting out, she needed a change of scenery, or she needed something to do. You can't just sit on the couch all day and watch TV. Like, she hated that. We love it as adults, but she hated that. Mom and dad working full time. I was exhausted. Being pregnant was very challenging during a pandemic. And so I would see her moods changing and her behavior change. And all behavior is communication. So I saw it as she's letting me know that she needs something. She might not have the word for it right now, but she's letting me know she needs something. And so I wrote a book for her called Natalie the Monster Slayer. And it's about, being brave, even though you have fear. So being courageous. And that I wanted to write another book about anger because she and I don't like to lose. And I'm very competitive, even when playing with her, but I'm like, okay, I got to teach her the right way to handle this. Right. So we're going to do it together. So I wrote a book about that. And I was like, oh, I could just make a whole series about emotions. Like, that would be so cool. I came up with all these characters, and it was a very crystal clear vision. So clear. I was on Amazon looking for it because I was like, where did this come from? I had to have seen this somewhere. And in a week, I had got it out of my head because I was like, I couldn't sleep. Right. I can't keep thinking about this. I had to get it out of my head. And it was a game that was based off of the emotion wheel. So I came up with 130 kid-friendly definitions for all 130 words on that wheel. I found the creator of the wheel, and he gave me permission to use it. Like, all these things lined up, and I was like, what is happening? Like, what is this? Wow. And it was all just supposed to be based on Natalie, but somebody was like, you're going to need a boy version. Wow. I'm not doing that. So I came up with the crew. It's like, I got to make a specific separate. Right. No. So I came up with the crew because, kids like to be included. Yeah. And so I wanted kids to see themselves, because our kids don't typically see themselves in these social emotional learning resources. And I want them to learn to have empathy and compassion for kids who don't look like them. Because just because that child doesn't have your skin tone doesn't mean they don't have feelings. Right. I feel like sometimes the media is a little biased, and people are more desensitized to people who don't look like them when there's a crime or something, something violent happens, and people are okay with watching it. And I'm like, no, we need to get back to that compassion and that empathy for others. So I remember it was on my birthday. My youngest daughter had just started sleeping through the night, and I was up at 4:30 in the morning screaming like, I'm so tired. And the name EQ Kids Crew came to me because I could not think of a name for this. And I was like, all right. I love it. Okay. So that's where it came from. But I really wanted just a resource to go with these books. And then that turned into a whole business of its own. And it is in so many different countries and so many households and schools and after school programs and different centers. And like, it just warms my heart so much to see that people are getting it, that they understand the importance of it. They want to support their kids in some way, and they just didn't know how. And this has been, I've been told many times, this is a really great resource, and it's a roadmap for me as an adult to navigate these conversations. Because that's what it's about. It's having conversations with kids. Yeah. Well, I can't wait to get the game. I hope everyone on here watching and listening, where can they get the game? Is it just from your website, or how do we get the game? Right now, it's just from my website. Yes. Okay. Yes, please. All of Chelsea's information is going to be in the comments and in the show notes. So not only get the game, but check out her website and all her resources. And this is absolutely amazing because I love inventors. I love it. And I have to send you something after this that I'm sure you'll appreciate. So how do people reach out to you? So people can reach out on my website. They can find me on social media. I'm on all platforms at Somocom Lab. This SOMOCOM, Somocom Lab. And I know it's a tricky word. Just find me wherever. Find me wherever. Okay. Now, one last question about not necessarily the game, maybe, but what's one tip that you can give to parents when they're handling these type of issues? So if you find yourself as a parent feeling dysregulated, so you are like frazzled and all over the place, you find yourself getting very short and irritable, frustrated quickly, all those things that we feel as parents as soon as kids wake up, take a deep breath. Get yourself back to center before you open your mouth. Don't say one thing to those kids until you breathe and you remind yourself that you love them, that they have their own person. They are a whole human being, and they deserve to be treated with love and respect, even when they're not at their best.
I love that. So breathe.
Breathe. Take a deep. My daughter, oh my goodness, I put my hands on my head the other day like this because I was just like, I have nothing left. Nothing. I'm tapped out completely. My husband was sick over the weekend. I was like, I have nothing left. Mommy's just done. And my daughter looked at me and said, Mommy, I love when you do that. And I was like, why? And she said, because I know that it's your way of being kind to us. And I was like, ah.
Really?
She really said that. And I was like, okay, so she gets it.
She
Y'all
gets
are driving
it.
me up a wall, but you know that Mommy's working hard to handle that.
She's breathing right now.
Yeah. And she'll remind me to take my deep breaths.
Wow.
Yeah. It's been amazing. So that's why I say, like, having these conversations with kids, they really do get it.
Yeah.
They really do get it.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait to get the game. I'm definitely ordering that. Before we go, we want to give the people watching and listening a chance to shoot their shot at you. So what types of things do you need in your business right now that you wouldn't mind bartering?
Right now, I definitely need accounting and bookkeeping help. So like big time. I was just like, I don't know what I'm doing in that area. I'm doing this. I'm chugging along. I'm a full-time entrepreneur now, and like this really needs to get in order. So any help and support in that area. And I would be willing to maybe do some free parent coaching or even give out a game. Yeah, I'm open.
Okay. So if you are an accounting, bookkeeper, anything like that, definitely shoot your shot in the comments. Chelsea will definitely reach out to you. I appreciate you so much for being on the show with me today. And thank you to everyone who's watching and listening. Be back here tomorrow, same time, same place, to see another entrepreneur that we are featuring this month for Black History Month. Thank you so much and have a good one.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.